Kelly.
Hello, Susanna.
So let me introduce Kelly Lindsay, who is Diana's husband, who has been working on all these video productions for the entirety of the course, and this is the first time you see the real person
Behind
in
the camera.
front of the camera. Right. So I'm really, really happy that you're designing this unit.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Nice to be part of it.
You have been part of this, a very, very integral part of this, and I don't know how we could have done this without you.
Well, you would have muddled along, I'm sure.
Without the caregiver, that would have just blown the whole thing out of the water. So we will be talking in this unit about the caregiver perspective. And Kelly speaks from experience and research and a lot of knowledge in this area. So can you talk a little bit about what your 4 or so videos will be about?
Sure. Well, I've been a caregiver for Diana over a 20-year period. And the first time when she first had cancer, it was a very short, brief event where it was a stage 1, comes in, cuts it out and goes. And frankly, we didn't really learn anything from it. It was really too quick. This last one has been an 8-year process and a much, much different story. And it's a much more invigorating one as far as I'm concerned. And it's mostly lessons from that incorporated with a lot of the other conversations we've had with other caregivers and other research that has gone into this particular unit. I think, well, should I just tell what the videos are? That's the idea. The first one is
just briefly.
Just a brief one. Just the first one, very brief video that I talk about really my first big issue with the idea of caregiving, and I'll just say that's all it's about. And I will also introduce kind of the other 3 videos, and I approach caregiving from as 3 different components to it. They're all integrated, of course, so it's a little bit of an artificial exercise in breaking them apart. All that said, this is an approach to caregiving. There are lots of approaches to caregiving. This is one that I have found particularly valuable only because it has been valuable to my own personal growth, and I think it was an effective way to go. It's a hard task, the caregiving, so I think it's more easily approached as an attitude rather than a job, and that's kind of how all of this, all these videos are kind of organized around that principle.
That's very, very good, an attitude rather than a job. There is this term, the reluctant caregiver, that gets thrown around so often because it happens so often that the spouses or the close family members are not up to the task.
Right.
And so, yes, it is a big transformative opportunity. And it's also interesting that you're saying that the first event of cancer didn't really teach you anything, that
we were relieved to get it over with. And that was the right thing at that particular moment in our lives too. It's just funny how things work out and the timing of it all. I think I'm not so interested in looking for a reason for why this happened this time and why this happened another time, and it just seems more valuable to me to look for meaning in something rather than the reason, and that's also, I think, in this approach as well.
So in addition to these videos, there's also the talk that you gave at Hollyhock, right? And we'll create a link to that as well, because that's
That might have been something they looked at early on. I think we had that as one of the introductions to all of us.
Yeah.
But if you hadn't looked at it, this would be the time. So.
This would be a good, yeah. Good, great. And then we'll talk a little bit more about the healthy body, healthy mind exercises, or rather than talk about it, we'll create links to some examples for that. Yeah. Thank you, Kelly.
Well, thank you.
And we'll see you again in Unit 9.
Unit 9. A little hard when this thing blinks out. It's kind of hard.